Good evening, one and all. Today we can see about Xilinx Vivada toolset. Yes. Here, Raju sir, please unmute. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this is the GA version of Vivada toolset. So starts with how you can work with Xilinx Vivado and how we can see the synthesis report, how we can see the implementation report to finding the power calculations and delay calculations we can see today. Okay, so starts with a very basic example like combinational circuits. Yesterday we saw see that some examples like multiplexers. Okay, 2:1 are and adders we can see. Okay, by using that we can go through the design in Xilinx Vivado, right? So coming to the point, now I'm selecting a new project. Okay, because we are starting very fresh. Okay, we are starting very fresh. So see here there are three main headings are available. One is quick start, another is task, another is learning center. So the quick starts gives you the creating project and opening project and opening the examples existing in the tool. Okay, but coming to the learning center, you can understand how to learn by ourselves. You can see by learning center, you can go for some technical videos, and you can go for related notes and some tutorials also available through online to access these terminals. Okay, so I want to start with a create project because I'm starting very new project. Okay, so click on create project. Click on create project. So while you are click on create new project, click on next, and you want to give some name of your project. Okay, you can give the name of your project and giving marks, and you can change the location. You can change the location also. So you can change the location and accordingly you can give anywhere also, no issues. And click on next. Here they are asking about the project type. Type in the sense you are starting like RTL, register transfer level logic, because you see that previous slides we mentioned that RTL is nothing but your Boolean expression. From Boolean expression, you can draw the RTL circuit, right? Like gate level circuit. So that's why we can start with the RTL project. If already existing projects are there, then you can go through these fundamental icons. Okay, like post level synthesis, IO planning, implementation, or example of the project. Like that, you want to go through these options. But we are starting with a very new, fresh design. So we are clicking on RTL project. We are clicking on RTL project. And also I'm mentioning that don't specify the sources at this time because I'm enable don't specify the sources at this time. Sources are nothing but here either Verilog code or a VHDL code or an IP code. Okay, so I'm mentioning those things and click on next. So here I want to target some default path. Okay, the path they are asking that path is nothing but your technology. Path is nothing but your technology. So here the parts are nothing but see here so many factors are you want to consider. The factors like category, family, package, speed. Okay, these are some factors like even static power is there, temperature is also there. So you want to identify these factors to target your device. Okay, or technology. So technology consisting of these many factors. Here the technology is nothing but your FPGA. Okay, here it is nothing but your FPGA. FPGA is having so many categories of FPGAs are there. So in that we are having some families also available. Families like in older versions we can call it as Spartan 6, Vertex 6, Spartan 3, Spartan 3A. Okay, those are the Vertex 4, Vertex 5. Those are the older version of families. Now latest version like 7 series families are there. Those are called Artex 7, Kintex 7. So those so many factors are available. So you can take Artex and the package you are seeing that FTG 324, FTG 256. Okay, this is the package. Package means IC package. Okay, package means IC package and speed grid is -1. Then you want to select the part number. Like part number is nothing but your IC is having every individual IC is having certain name and number. Okay, so that those numbers and names are printed above the IC of above the package. Okay, so like that the part number is there. The part number is called XC7A, sorry, XC7A35T. Okay, XC7A35T I'm selecting right now. So X for Xilinx, that means the product is generated by Xilinx or manufactured by Xilinx. Okay, and C for commercial purpose, and 7 for 7 series. There are so many architectures are also there. In that architecture, 7 series is the one of the architecture, and A for Artex. That means A for Artex, family type, A for Artex. 35T means 35,000 logic resources are available. 35,000 logical resources are available. And FTG is the package type of 256 is or nothing but your IO pin number, IO pin count, right? So like that you can select it. Or this is one type of selection of your targeted device or technology file. Or otherwise you can go for boards, and select your board. Okay, this is my board of Apply Volt here. So apply manufactured and designed by the Apply Volt, and the part number, the same part number, see XC7A35T. So the part number I'm not changed here. If you are having a board file, you can select the board, or if you don't have the board files, you can go to the parts and select it and click on next right, and finish and finish. Now we are entering into the project navigator window as well as project manager. So this is your project manager and this is your flow navigator window. Okay, by using this flow navigator window, we want to design the entire process. We want to design the entire process. So in the project manager, one of the window name is called source window. So this source window consisting of three things. One is design source, another is constraints, another is simulation sources. Okay, simulation sources. So the design source can give the entire design of your uh, project. Okay, for example, you are designing a 4-bit uh, 4-bit adder or 4-bit multiplier, or you want to design a 32-bit adder in a different scenario, you can go for the design sources. And the simulation sources gives you that it is the verification of your design. It is verifying the verification of your design. So for the verification also you want to write some sort of codes. Coming to the constraints are nothing but the pin numbers or IO or pin bank for your hardware. For your hardware. Okay. So you want to assign the pin descriptions for the design source code with respect to your targeted technology. So the targeted file is your this FPGA board. Okay, this FPGA board you want to go for this FPGA board. So you can see this FPGA board consisting of some switches are available, some LEDs and 7-segment display, as well as some sensors are also there. One type of sensor is TFT sensor, another is camera is available, and some more additional features like Bluetooth as well as Wi-Fi. So this board is consisting of these many features. It is also act as an some IoT applications also we can use this FPGA board. Okay, so this much of board we want to see. For example, you want to use some switches, then you want to give the switch number to the input pin, those pin descriptions are nothing but constraints. Okay, those pin descriptions are nothing but constraints, right? Okay, now so now I want to start with a basic code. So I want to add the source file. I want to add the design source file. So add sources. In your flow navigator, we are having add sources. Add sources. So here there are 3 things are again comes into the picture. Those are creating a constraint file or design source or simulation source. Those 3 things are available in where? In your source window. According to the source window only they are appearing here. Now what I want to do, I want to design taking for the design source. So I'm taking the second option, add or create a design source. Add or create a design source. So click on next. Now I want to click on create file. Already some files are there, so like add file or add directory. Because I'm creating very new project, I don't have any existing files or existing directories. So I'm not able to using these 2 options. I'm only using the creating a file option. I'm using the creating file option, and I'm taking that name of the file is Max. Okay, and I want to go for what type of language I want to go. Based on these many languages, like we can see Verilog is there, Verilog header is there, system Verilog, VHDL. Okay, in these languages I'm taking Verilog. If you want to go for a VHDL, then you can change the file type to VHDL. Okay, like that you can easily understand. Then click on OK. You know, again click on OK and finish. So here they are asking that default modules. Then so here I want to give some descriptions like for example, By 2:1 max, if you are considering, so how many inputs are there? How many outputs are there? So anybody from the participants can tell me how many inputs and how many outputs are available?
2 inputs and 1 output, sir.
2 inputs and 1 outputs. Okay, sir. Rather than that, anything is there?
Selection lines.
So selection line, it may be an input, sir, or output.
So that is input only, sir.
Very good, sir. So how many inputs and how many outputs are now?
3.
3 inputs, sir.
3 inputs. Very good, sir. Very good. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So we are having, for example, you are taking 2:1 max means how many things are there? 3 inputs. Those are A, comma, B, comma. Yes is the selection line. And output is your how many? Z.
Only single output, sir.
Only single output. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So please be on mute, sir. Thank you for giving the response. So we are having only one output. The output must be in terms of that means the Z is in terms of output direction. So you want to, these are your directions, okay, and click on OK, and click on OK. So double click on your design source. See, in the design source, one type of file is added. That file name is called mux.v. So, and the module name called mux. Okay. So you can see the syntax also here. So we can directly access here. This is your code. Okay. Now I want to write the rest of the body. So the body you can write in different ways. Yesterday we see that either data flow modeling, either structural modeling, either behavioral model. Based on your description, you can write any style of your body, but the header and footer must be the same. Okay. In between the header and footer, there is a module name is there, and input and output filters or variables are existing, right? So what I'm doing is assign. I'm using conditional operator here. Assign Z is equals to X question mark. If S is equals to 1, then I want to print B colon. I want to print A. That means if S is not equals to 1, I want to print A value. What is the A value I want to print? Okay. Just I'm using very simple operator. The operator name is called conditional operator. Okay. So by using the conditional operator, I'm writing a very simple code of 2:1 max. So I want to save this. Now what I want to do, I want to run the code. So for the in the synthesis part, you can see this is the mux also existing. In the design source is also mux is existing. So if you want to run the simulation, automatically the simulation source will be activated. So click on go to in the flow navigator window, go to simulation. In that simulation, go click on run simulation. After you completing your code, okay, after you completing the entire code, you can click on run simulation. So click behavior of the design. So now you want to give certain values to verify the functionality of the design. Okay, you want to give the some values to verify the functionality of the design, whether our marks has been functioning properly or not according to our truth table. Okay, what is the truth table? The A value, what is the B value will be appear in the output side. If S equals to 0, then the A value will be appear in the output side. So what I want to do, first of all, I'm giving right click on my input variable A, and I'm changing the value. I'm changing the force constant. So instead of force constant, I'm giving force clock. See what will happen, we can understand. So force clock. If I'm giving a forced clock continuously, what will happen? So here I want to give the leading edge is 1, trailing edge is 0, and duty cycle I'm giving as 100. D variable in the clock 1, 0. Here I'm giving 300 instead of period 100. I'm giving 300. Here the time scale I'm also changing to 300, 300, 600. Okay. If my yes, what is the yes? I want to give either 1 or 0. So that is the reason I want to make sure that force constant is 1. Initially I'm giving 1. Then I want to click on run at a time interval of 600 nanoseconds. So if I'm running 600 nanoseconds, then see the output how it looks like. So what is the values? You can understand here. The A value, the S value is 1. So what is the B value is representing the same entire value is displayed in the output side. See the same thing is displaying or not. If it is 1, 1. If it is 0, 0. If it is 1, 1. If it is 0, 0. So the same data what is entering into the B, the same data is appearing in the output side because my selection line is 1. My selection line is 1. Instead of the selection line turns to force constant to 0, then what will happen? We can see. I want to see the output of A value. Is it A is coming or not? We can understand right now. A is coming. You can see the change, the response of when my selection line turns to 0. Turns to 0. Obviously, the output is also having the variation. The output variation has been appeared according to the forcing input value of A. What is the data has been transmitting? The same data has been transmitting in the output side. So we can clearly mentioning that the entire output has been okay and the functional response has been successfully completed. Then we can make sure we can so now I'm closing this simulation source and I'm going for the next step in the flow navigator window. So what I mentioned in the earlier, based on your flow navigator window, you can make sure that the entire data has been pop up, right? Nice. So click on click on RTL analysis. So the after simulation, there is another step is called RTL analysis. Click on open elaborated design to view the RTL schematic view. To view the RTL schematic view. So you can see there is a schematic is there, the RTL block. So click on this schematic. This schematic is nothing but your RTL schematic. Okay, this is your RTL schematic. So here you can see there is an IO ports are available in the window. These IO ports are nothing but there are some scalar ports are there. Those scalar ports are nothing but your input and output ports. Here you want to make sure that to give the pin descriptions and IO standards according to your hardware board what you are targeted. So I'm giving that L5, L4 and M4 are my input signals and J3 are my output. Okay, L5, L4, M4 and J3 are my outputs. And here the IO standards I want to change it to LV CMOS 33 because we are always operating in the low power applications with a certain level. So the technology here it is called LV CMOS 33. So low voltage CMOS technology 3.3 volts. That means okay. We are giving the pin number. Pin number means hardware pin number. We are assigning the hardware. Okay. Where is the hardware located? Actually, the location of the hardware is here. See, this is our hardware. This is our hardware, right? So now you can save Control S to save this. Yes. Right. Fine. Thank you. Here we are saving it as in terms of pin number. Okay, in terms of pin of your mux. So these are nothing but if you are clicking on save button, what will it appear? It will appear as constant file. So that means what? In your source module, one of the subheading constants has been placed here. So this is nothing but added constants are like this. Okay, either you can type manually or you can give directly. Okay, both the things will be appear here. Okay, so like this we can giving the constant file or creating the constant file based on your hardware. Okay, so now going to the next topic, that means next step is nothing but run synthesis. So click on run synthesis in the flow navigator window. So you can easily identify the technology schematic. So we are identifying the technology schematic. That means how much of area has been occupied or consumed by this code. Okay, by this design, we want to identify by running the synthesis. Nice. So I think still the synthesis is running. So here the synthesis is completed. So I want to open and see the area or what is the utilization factors held inside the or technology schematic I want to see in my synthesized design. So clicking on open synthesized design and click on OK. So here it is asking that you want to close the elaborated design. Yes, I want to close the elaborated design. Now you can understand that there is a schematic is there. This is my schematic in the synthesis part. Above also one schematic is available. See, this is the RTL schematic. This is a synthesized schematic. This schematic gives you the technology schematic. The schematic is nothing but the technology schematic, and the previous schematic is nothing but the RTL schematic. The variation has been there. If you want to identify that, this is called
Sir, you are not unable, sir.
hello. Is my voice is clear? Anybody can respond.
Yeah, now it is clear. Just go back to 2
On the
or 3
participant
minutes.
side, is
Couple of
my voice
minutes.
is clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Just John, you just go back to couple of minutes with your explanation, because in the kind of RTL diagram internal structure what you showed, that with a complete null volume. Okay.
Okay. Is the audio is clear, sir?
Yeah, it's clear now. It's clear. It's clear. No problem.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. So like this, we can see that our technology schematics and everything. And seeing that in project summary, you can also understand the utilization. So the utilization is nothing but your occupation, or what you can call the entire design space. Okay. So out of 20,800 LUTs are resources of LUTs are available. Out of these, you are used only single LUT, and the IO banks, that means the IO ports, input and output ports available are 170. Out of these, you utilized 4. Like that, you are estimating the area parameter in your design in the VLSI. Nice. So, and the last thing is the implementation part. So what do you want to do? Just click on run implementation. Here the implementation goes with PNR. PNR means place and route. PNR means place and route. Why it is place and route means, you can see this is my design. This is my FPGA. Instead of this much of FPGA, where the single LUT is placed, I don't know. So the tool itself wants to place one of the LUT, and it will give you, and it will route automatically with respect to the IO pads. Here the corners, left side and right side, there is a IO pads are available. Those corners it will route it. Okay, then it is called place and route. So first of all, it is initializing the design. You can see in the top, or otherwise in the summary, running and design initialization, then optimization, then place and route. It will takes the place. So the implementation is also completed. So I want to see the open implemented design. So in the device, what I mentioned, any one place it is occupied one LUT. See here in the top notch corner, it is there. See, very small. In the 6 input LUT, it is occupied and it will routed. The green lines are routing lines. Okay. So what is this? We can see I'm placing my cursor in that place. It will showing that is a slice L of CLB LM. Okay, it is one of the slice of CLB's slice L. Okay, then you can see where the routing has been taken. Pin description L5, L4, M4, J3 are the IO ports are connected here. And to view the power, so here there is a power report is also available here. So click on chart way, you can easily understand there is a how much of signal power, how much of logic power, and how much of IO power are being taken in this design. We can consider. And still the utilization must be in the same pattern. But coming to the delay factor, you can click on report timing summary. Report on timing summary. Here in unconstrained path, there are none to none are available. None to none are available. Then click on setup hold. There are setup time and a hold time. In this setup, you can identify that the delay factor with respect to logic delay and net delay. With respect to the combination of both logic delay and net delay, you can add these two delays, you can get the total delay for the setup as well as for the hold. So for the setup, it is going from S to Z. For the hold, it is coming from A to Z. A to Z, right? So like that, we want to see that all three major important factors in VLSI, those are called area, power, delay. Okay, we want to reduce the area, we want to reduce the power, we want to reduce the delay factors. So to design a better VLSI, okay, circuit. To design a better VLSI circuit. Okay, then the last step is to generate a bit file for the sake of debugging into the FPGA. For the sake of debugging into the FPGA. So this is the part of the entire Xilinx Vivado flow. This is the part of entire Xilinx Vivado flow, right? Yes. I think Aditya sir, is it okay, or I want to go for further? Aditya sir,
Yes, John.
can I stop my sharing?
You just show one sequential circuit also.
Right.
Within a couple of minutes, take 5 to 10 minutes and show the code for just how to write the code. Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Right.
Within 10 minutes, just I'm going to take it session.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you. So, right, we can see another code also right now. That is a sequential code. So I want to write a sequential code for 4:1. Sorry, 4-bit counter, and how it's like and how it looks like. We can see. So I'm writing the code in behavioral mode. I want to write the code in behavioral model. Okay. So I'm writing the code here itself only. I'm not taking any new project. In the source window, I want to click on add source. Add source. So here, add or create design source and creating a file of counter. So click on finish. So actually, I want to design the different. There are so many different types of counters are there. Like you can name it as Johnson counter, up counter, down counter, up down counter. Okay, like that, so many counters are there. So instead of that, I'm going for a very basic counter like up down counter. I want to take the complexity for the up down counter of 4-bit. So coming to that, every sequential circuits consisting of the certain inputs are common. Every sequential circuits consisting certain inputs are common, like clock signal and reset signal are common. Right, very nice. So these two signals are very common. And I want to go for up down means I want to take some other signal or another input. That input name is called enable. If my signal is enabled, then I want to perform one type of operation, either up counting or down counting. That means either incrementing or decrementing. Either my signal is down, that means turns to 0. I want to perform another type or the opposite type of 1. Okay, either up or down, either increment or decrement. And so for that, the output must be Q, always be Q. Okay, because if you are seeing the counters in your academics, you can identify that the counters has been designed by using what type of module it is. Anybody can give the name. Counters are designed by using
Flip-flop, sir.
very nice, very nice. Thank you very much. So the counters has been designed by using flip-flops. Okay, if you are designing 4-bit counter, you require 4 flip-flops. If you are designing 32-bit counter, you require 32 flip-flops. So the counter output has been Q, and or sometimes somebody is taking a count, that is also taken, no issues. So my direction of the output Q must be output, and I'm enabling here the bus. I'm enabling here the bus because I'm giving my MSB bit is 3, because I'm using 3 down to 0 means 4-bit. 0, 1, 2, 3 are 4 bits, are the 4 bits. Q of 0, Q of 1, Q of 2 and Q of 3, it looks like that. Okay, these are the 4-bit counter. So you can understand why I'm taking these signals. So clock and reset are the input signals because the sequential circuits commonly consisting of clock signal and reset signal, and the enable signal is for I want to design up down counter. That's why I'm using another signal name called enable signal in the input side. Output side is Q of bit length 4-bit. Bit length of 4-bit, that is 3 down to 0. Now click on OK. Click on OK. So see here, you can also understand that the counter has been placed here in the design source as well as the simulation source. So click on counter, and I want to write the counter body. I want to write the counter body in behavioral modeling. So here, one of the condition for writing a code, another condition for writing a code here, every sequential circuits must consisting of a output terminal in terms of register. This is a point, one of the major point. So the output followed by range followed by the variable declaration you want to mention. This is the syntax. Output followed by range followed by the variable declaration. Okay. So why I'm taking reg means here it is a register. Reg means nothing but a register, because the output is always having certain value in the previous state. So that is the reason I'm taking the reg. Okay. And I'm writing the body in terms of behavioral modeling. So if you want to write the behavioral modeling, you want to go for the procedural block. Starting with always followed by the procedural symbol at the rate, followed by you want to give the give the signals, or you want to give the raising edge or falling edge of the data. So here I want to give the positive POSEDG, positive edge of clock. That means at every pause edge. That means at every positive edge of clock. That means raising edge. Positive edge means every raising edge of the clock. I want to procedural block consisting of begin and end also. BGIN begin as well as it is having end. So the procedural block held in between the begin and end. So always symbol is at the rate followed by the signal positive the clock begin. What I want to do, if my reset signal, that means if reset is high, what will happen? I want to assign the Q to 4 tick B0, 4 tick B0. That is the syntax. The 4 means 4 is nothing but a size. Tick. B means nothing but the radix. Binary, hexadecimal, octal, those are called radix. 0 nothing but value. This is the syntax. 4 is nothing but a size. Tick. B is nothing but radix followed by value is 0. Else, if my enable signal is high, initially if reset signal is 1, the entire output turns to 0. If reset is not equals to 1, that means reset turns to 0, then what will happen? In that case, you are verifying to another condition. The condition name is called enable. If reset is not equals to 0 and enable is high, then you are performing Q equals to Q plus 1. That means you are incrementing. That you are going for up. 0, 1, again 1, that means 2, again 1, that means 3, again 1, that means 4. Like that, you are increasing the value. That means you are increasing the upcounting value. Okay. Else, if reset is 0 and enable is also 0, while giving else, both the input signals of reset and enable turns to 0. Both the reset and enable signals are turns to 0. Then what will happen? We want to write. So now I want to perform down counting Q minus 1. Q minus 1. See the code once again, everybody. This is the code for up down counter. Very simple, very easy for 4-bit up down counter. Not only 4-bit. In case of 4, you want to put 32, the counter code must be the same. There is no changes anywhere else. So first of all, I am identify my signals. What are those signals? Both the input side and output side. The signals are nothing but the clock signal, reset signal, and enable signal. For output side, I'm taking Q is my output signal of a bus length or bit length of 4 bit. Of 4 bit, 3 down to 0. And I was going for the procedural block. Here I am declaring with every positive edge of raising clock signal, the counter code missing. Because if your clock is running continuously, at raising edge only the data has been changes. At raising every raising edge only the data has been changes. If you consider every raising edge means from first raising edge to second raising edge, it is nothing but the period. The period. Half of the period is nothing but the width. Half of the period is nothing but the width. If one period is completed, then one count has been completed. One what you call one is added or one is subtracted. One is added or one is separated for every period. For every period. That's why we are saying that for at a raising edge only the data has been changing or not changing. At positive edge means the raising edge of the clock signal. So here what you discussing, if even though clock signal is positive edge for every period to period, varying from period to period, then you are focusing on next two input signals. Those are called reset signal and enable signal. Reset signal and enable signal. So if the reset signal is high, that means your reset signal turns to 1, the entire counter turns to 0. The entire counter turns to 0. Else, if reset signal, else means you are automatically switch off the reset signal. That means the value must be 0. The reset value is 0. Then you are focusing on enable signal, either 1 or 0. So if it is 1, then you can go for Q plus 1. Else you are going for Q minus 1. So like that you are seeing the outcome. So now what I want to do, I want to verify the functionality. In simulation source, I'm set as a counter as my top level module because I'm seeing the nice. So see now clock. You can force the clock signal here. Just previously 1, 0. Nice. And the reset turns to initially what the value? Force constant 1. If it is 1 also, don't bothering about our enable signals. Enable, I want to give 1 initially also. So now I want to running this clock. See what will happen. Reset is still is on. That's why even it is not bothering about the enable signal. The output is turns to 0. Right. Very nice. You can see the scalar outputs also. And if reset turns to 0 and the enable is also 1 already, I'm not changing the enable, only I'm changing the reset. So what will happen now? See. So how much count it is counting is going on? Up counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counting is going on. Still again it turns to after 15. That means 15th value means F. Then again it will starting count will be start from the initial 0. Okay. So now I want to change my the enable signal to 0 because up counting is going good. Now what about the down counting? I want to see the value. See, the down counting is going well. So where here started after 7, after 8, why it is 8? Because here still it is raising edge, the value is 1, that's why the values come. Now in the rising edge, the value of enable signal is 0, reset signal is also 0. Now it is the value has been started because I said that period to period variation has been there. Now 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0, yes, 210 FED, down counting is going well. Down counting is going well. Okay, like that, you can easily write the codes here. This is the sequential code for 4-bit counter. Okay, nice. Yes. Sir.
Yes, I can take I can take it now.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now I will stop my sharing. You can hand over the session, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, guys. Welcome back to my session. I'm here to deliver one more point as per I promised. Okay, so I'm just giving you clarification on checkpoints. So just let me have 20 minutes, or at least please excuse me if I took more than 5 minutes because today is the closing session. You have to bear me at least 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. First of all, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Some other person is asking something. I think I missed it. Any point to discuss from someone else? Yeah. Anyway, just these are the checkpoints one supposed to concentrate. And now I think here we have finished the second checkpoint also, writing HDL codes. Yesterday we discussed about the theoretical description of writing HDL codes, and today we worked out with a VBADA tool, appropriate CAD tool or EDA tool, computer aided design tool or electronic design automation tool. Okay, and next checkpoint is draw the schematics. Of course, as the time is not permitting, I'm not going detail into the third checkpoint and fourth checkpoint, but I will let you know at least to the basic level possible extent. Okay, so now it's my responsibility to give you information on how one can draw different schematics. Okay, how one can draw different schematics. Now see, after that, how one can draw different layouts. See here, you just concentrate conventional and non-conventional. Conventional means traditional or so-called old methods. Non-conventional means new methods. Okay, new methods. Now, yeah, you see, there is a list of schematics or logic. Okay, if possible, please try to identify what is the logic. See, all are the logics that are relevant to inverter only inverter. Okay.
Yes.
Here, my point is, if I ask you design inverter, then now with this piece of information, how many inverters you can draw? You can design 8. 8 it is 8 inverters. Am I right? 8 inverters. But the top 4 inverters are with in terms of resistors and transistors. Of course, the last one is a mixed version with resistor as well as MOSFET. But the bottom 4 are only in terms of MOSFETs. Okay. Anyway, whether it is good to go with all or bad to go with all, okay, not good to go with all, but I can say there are 8 different types of inverters possible to design. Okay, 8 different inverters. Okay, 8 different inverters. Out of 8, few are old, so-called old, and a few are the modern. Okay, and now if you people are getting some piece of knowledge on FinFET technology, yes, this list will increase. Or if you study about some other types of schematics, yes, this list will increase. Okay, list is not 8, more than 8. I told you in the beginning, more than 8 type of schematics you can draw. Okay, like me, if you are following our sessions or some kind of complete training session with enough amount of number of days, yes, we will let you to draw definitely more than 8 types of schematics. Okay, and more than 8 type of schematics include only in terms of MOSFETs. We are not going to include resistors and transistors because a resistor and transistor is having a problem of area. Okay, so anyway, one problem, 8 solutions in terms of schematics. Okay, so third checkpoint is also a little bit satisfied. Okay, anyway, just you need to get more information on schematics. Yes, see here how I could able to draw different logic families for same logic. Inverter is my logic, but different type of circuits or different configurations. Okay, and it's you need to decide which one is good by entering the schematic in an appropriate CAD tool like Mentor Graphics. So far we worked out HDL. Okay, so far we worked out HDL and we got RTL diagram. What is our next job? I supposed to convert that RTL diagram into schematic. Now this is the list of schematics for simple inverter. Now see DTL inverter, DTL NAND gate, DTL NOR gate. Okay, that's how one person supposed to learn how one can get difference in the same logic. Okay, TTL inverter logic, TTL NAND gate, and TTL. Okay, TTL NOR logic. Now, so this is the way how one can get different schematics. See, so till now I just consider only so-called old logic families. Okay, if you ask me NAND to develop RTL, DTL, TTL, ECL means NAND can be available in 4 logic families. NOR can be available in 4 logic families. But I told you in the beginning, any logic expressions can be realized in terms of NAND. That expression in terms of NAND, 4 types, and that 4 into 4. See how many types of versions you can get the solutions. But these logic families are not only limited. Yes, you can extend these logic families. See how many logic families are there? You can develop BiCMOS, you can develop enhancement, you can develop depletion, you can develop pseudo NMOS. Okay, so like that you can design 2 multiplied by 8. 2 means NAND in terms of 9, NOR in terms of 9. Totally for a single problem I can develop 18 different schematics. 18 different schematics. But earlier we already closed that 20 RTL diagrams are possible. 5 in terms of SOP, 5 in terms of POS, 5 in terms of NAND only, 5 in terms of NOR only, 20. So now I can write 20 in place of 2 only, 20 into 9. Okay, 180 different schematics are possible, guys. But my point is, all 180 schematics are not good equally. One is good, somewhat good, one is bad, somewhat bad, something like that. But yes, I could able to show you the difference in the types of schematics that are available or that are possible. Okay. Yes. Yeah, this is the list of parameters by which you need to concentrate on schematics. Now see here, this is the overall list by which one can develop different types of schematics. Okay, same logic. NAND in these many possible ways. NOR in these many possible ways. Inverter in these many possible ways. Or some kind of expression, some expression from full adder. Yes, these many. Okay, carry expression from full adder. Yes, these many. You just try to understand a simple single logic. A simple single logic can be realized in these many possible ways. And my request is this list is not limited. As far as my knowledge only, I'm just keeping the list. Okay. If someone can come up with more than 16, getting my point? Why I'm doing all these things? I wanted to make change in the number of transistors in a logic which is required to realize. What is the advantage? If I reduce transistors, I can reduce area. If I reduce area, yes, I can reach my VLSI, very large scale integration. I have to increase the density, means more number of transistors or more number of components I supposed to incorporate in a standard die. In a standard die. That's why I supposed to look for the better solution. Solution means solution in terms of RTL coding, solution in terms of schematic, solution in terms of layout. Okay. Now see here, this is your flow again. And here we finish the task like RTL diagram. Okay. After completion of HTL coding, okay, you are with RTL diagrams in the different styles. One is data flow, one is behavioral, one is structural. Your next task is you have to draw the schematics. Okay. You have to draw the schematics from this flow itself. I'm moving a bit quick. Please try to excuse me. Now, so from this list, if I consider schematic, okay, see here, schematics can be of non-CMOS type or CMOS type. Okay, schematics can be of non-CMOS type or CMOS type. Generally, if you are concentrating on low power, you have to concentrate on CMOS. Knowingly or unknowingly, if you are working for low power, you have to work with the CMOS only. Okay, if you are working for high speed, you have to work with ECL. Okay, if you are working for load driving capability, you have to work with by CMOS. Like that, each and every logic family is offering the best possible advantage and also some sort of disadvantage. Okay, as a designer, you are not supposed to decide before designing. You have to decide after designing, and with your own experience only, you have to make your conclusive statement. Okay, if it is non-CMOS, yes, conventional type of layout only possible. If it is CMOS, yes, conventional I can draw, and non-conventional also I can draw. Okay, what is the problem with conventional? Yes, I cannot optimize the area. Okay, not good in terms of area for a final IC. What is the advantage with non-conventional? Yes, I can optimize the area, good in terms of area for final IC. That goodness is possible with the application of Euler's path technique in order to extract your layout. Euler's path is excellent tool to extract your layout. Okay, I'm not going detail because you guys are somehow diploma or you guys are somehow BTech start at the earlier stage. So I'm not going into the detail, and the important factor is the time for us also. Okay, now see for NAND gate, if I consider, okay, so this is the schematic for NAND gate. Of course, you have to start with a symbol or truth table, and for this symbol, I can say this is the schematic. So this is, I can call this is I think this is CMOS. Okay, this is CMOS. Please excuse me. The top one is CMOS and the bottom one are non-CMOS. Okay, the top one is CMOS and the bottom one are non-CMOS. Even for the sake now, I could able to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 different types of schematics for a selected NAND gate. What is my next task? I have to draw the stick diagrams for the selected schematic. What is my next job? I have to draw the layout for the selected schematics. Okay, now see, this is how you can draw the layout. Okay, On first diagram, you are with schematic, and from that you have to draw the stick diagram. The center one is stick diagram. See how I am getting that? First, I consider all the stick encodings for PMOS, all the stick encodings for NMOS. After that, I have to draw the layout. Okay, see, left hand side, my schematic, what I worked out, what I finalized. On the middle, I am with my stick diagram, which is only the reference. Okay, and right hand side, I'm having my layout for the selected schematic. Okay, and what I can do the layout with the layout? Yes, I can do a lot. Okay, now just randomly selected equation. If you wanted to work out, this is the schematic, and then I have to draw the stick diagram. See, this is my stick diagram. You see the appearance of schematic and stick diagram, both are one and the same. Only difference is your schematic is in terms of MOSFET symbols, your stick diagram is in terms of stick encodings. Okay, what is the need of stick diagram? If you are not having the stick diagram, you are unable to draw the layout diagram. If you are unable to draw the layout diagram in the proper way, your IC fabrication will become a tough task. Okay, yes, because of we unable to define what are different MOS layers. Okay, see here, exactly same. Only difference is your stick is single stroke representation, your layout is multi-stroke representation. Now you see for the same equation, so this type of diagram is conventional and the layout also conventional. Wherever I'm having transistors, I just consider exactly. Okay, but here in terms of area, I'm not happy. For that, what I'm doing, see here, Euler's path approach I'm going. So this is the stick diagram with Euler's path. Of course, we have to follow a set of steps, 5 to 6 set of steps by which I can get this type of layout. Okay. Now you just observe the difference between layout for the same schematic without Euler's path and with Euler's path. Yes. So this is properly organized, and by which I can eliminate some unnecessary space also. Means I can save some area. Okay. Now you see difference between the schematic, okay, and the stick diagram and the layout diagram with the conventional approach, non-conventional approach, that is Euler's path. Euler's path without merging, Euler's path with merging. Yes, for you guys a lot is there to learn. Okay, you have to spend at least 10 to 20 days to learn all these things. Okay, of course, even right now we are with each and every content. Only problem is time factor. Okay, that's why I'm showing you the things. And if anyone interested, yes, you have to approach us. We will make you to learn all these things. And important point is money for which you are paying is not important for us. We wanted you guys to learn something in VLSI, in the field of VLSI. That's it. Okay. I wanted to remind you guys. Yeah, after having layout, what you are doing? I'm sorry, ma'am. Completely, you're with glitches. I'm not able to get your voice. Okay, then after having this layout, what I finalize with my appropriate tool, what I have to do? I have to generate GDS-II file, Gerber data stream for information interchange file. And what I can do that with that GDS? Yes, I can transfer that GDS file to FabCity. Now, the GDS file is with this type of information. Okay, each and every separate mask layer, one layer for preparation of N-well, the other one for preparation of polysilicon, diffusion, P-diffusion, contact, metal, everything. Okay, this piece of information in terms of these layers is only required during the fabrication, and this is extracted from a finalized layout. Okay, that's it. See, so once you are finalizing your layout, this is the internal appearance. Okay, this is the internal appearance. Here you are finding a lot of vias, metal vias, contacts, lot of things. Okay. Yes, sir. I will come to you, sir. Sir. Okay. Now, Yes, you can proceed with the questions. Oh, where is the chart? Don't know. Yeah. Stop sharing. Yes, any questions? Yes, still I'm having a couple of minutes to discuss. Any set of questions from anyone? One ma'am's about to ask something about, because of glitch I am unable to get that. Yes. Yes, SHV, you are raising your hand or someone else? Yeah, I don't know. Murali, do you want to ask anything?
Yes, sir. Sir, I asked about internship. Is there any internship opportunity?
Yes. I think you got your our contact number also. You got our contact
sir.
number. You just okay. Please be in touch with us so that we will inform you about those things. Yes, Jeevan,
Okay.
you are
Okay.
absolutely right. That is before finalizing your file, you have to test your layout. Okay, that is the role of DRC, LVS, and PEX. What I quoted earlier. If not performing your DRC, design rule check. Okay, violation. With that violation, of course, IC can be fabricated with errors or without errors, but there is a short or open type of errors, okay, which is not correct for your functional response. Okay, DRC, we have to follow. LVS, we have to follow. We must do a lot of work before finalizing that layout. Okay, I told you, if I got a proper layout, proper means for that properness, I have to do a lot of work. I must enter that layout in a tool of Cadence or Mentor Graphics, and I must impose certain libraries like 45 nano, 90 meter nano, or 180 nanometer technology. And I supposed to invoke all the rules. For Mentor, we have to check at most, yes, we have to follow at most 399 types of rules, like that. Okay, yes, basic point of discussion only we are with, but yes, any questions? There are no questions.
One more thing again.
It is not single stone, ma'am, Lakshmi Prasanna ma'am. It is not single stone. It is single stroke. 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 Okay, single stroke, ma'am. Single stroke means a single line, single dimensional. Yes, ma'am. Mr. John, could you please share your contact number so that the participant are going to use or can be in touch with us? Prasanna ma'am, it is not a multi-stroke. If you are drawing multi-stroke, means that it is becoming a layer. Single stroke means a stick diagram. On paper only you can draw the stick diagram. Okay, you cannot enter your stick diagram in a tool. Multi-stroke means it becomes a layer. Okay, tool allows. You can draw layout in a tool. You can draw a schematic in a tool, but you cannot draw a stick diagram in tool. Stick is a representation, intermediate representation between schematic and a layout diagram. Okay, layout diagram. So your layout diagram is something like a layout a civil engineer is coming with before starting his building construction. Your building is also something like a layout. Okay, it is with horizontal and vertical bars, pillars, lot of floors. Okay, multi-floored building, something like. Okay, it's a plan. Yeah. Anything else, John? Anything from our side?
from my
Ramesh
side.
Naidu sir. Ramesh Naidu sir is there.
No, sir, not there.
Okay. Srikar sir, I think you are from APSSDC. Anything
sir,
to
I
speak,
am
sir?
from APSSDC.
Anything from your side? Any instructions for us? Any improvement from our side required? Or
No,
did we
sir,
miss anything?
No, sir, that is not mandatory. Sir. There is no need. As if any queries, you can answer. You can please give the questions.
Yes,
Sir
sir.
will
Yes, sir.
answer.
Yeah.
That's one. Yes, tell me, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Swami sir. Any questions from your side? Now it is 59. I think we can close. Yeah. Mail ID.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for an informative session. It's really good, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. John, provide your mail ID here in the chat box. Yeah, thank you, participants. Thank you very much for your patience, and you are with us. Okay, and we are here to assist you. I'm not saying that we can help you. We are here to assist you if and all required. And yes, you can be. If you want to know anything about, you'll get every information. You just type apply volt in Google search engine. You'll get the information regarding our activities. Okay, so this is our company's name itself. Okay.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Can you share the PPT, sir?
Sorry, sir. PPT.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I can share. Things are available there. Now, sir. Here, sir. You are with complete information.
Sir, here we are.
So, sir, time factor only I stop sharing. Otherwise.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Sir, tell me, sir.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.